priority is something I have a real problem with because it goes at the cost of other things. And just from a Parks and Rec point, I just want to read you off what it would affect, more than likely. A covered multi-sport facility at Harewood Centennial Park, multi-purpose covered building at Bevan Park, Port Theatre expansion, Phase 2 and 3 of the Nanaimo Art Gallery, implementation of the Maffeo Sutton Park Improvement Plan, extension of the ENN Trail, improvement to new parkland acquired in the last couple of years, like Nanaimo Lakes Road, Lindley Valley, West Marsh, and East Wellington Parkland, Caledonia Park and Rotary Bowl improvements, as well as other field upgrades, Colliery Dam improvements, whatever, Colliery Dam Park improvements. And that is just Parks and Rec. There are many other departments that have their own priority. And so when I look at that list and suspect what will be happening to some of those things that have been the priority for a long time, then I think it is unfair for something like this to all of a sudden take precedence over the others. There's a sequence in which these things happen. A lot of discussion goes into it, a lot of planning goes into it. I know Parks and Rec have done a lot of work on that short list that I mentioned, and there are more items on it. So that is my number one reason for supporting the motion as it was read. But I would be less than honest if I didn't tell you that I have, economic impact notwithstanding, a huge problem with $100,000 for the first year in operating costs and $80,000 in subsequent years. That is a lot of money. And while, again, the presentation is perfect, the idea is good, I can't support what is being asked for at this moment because of the two reasons that I've given. And so I will be supporting the motion as it reads.
Okay, Councillor Best.
Thank you, Bishop. I'm sure that nobody doesn't think that any of these assets to the city aren't good ideas, because they are. To Councillor Patchy, when he makes reference to, we're just waiting for the Bevan Park Master Plan to come back, which has been worked on for several months, if not over a year, I believe. So we're waiting for that. And there's many things contained inside that master plan, I'm sure, that are capital required. I understand that there's no capital required for this project. We also have the Maffeo Sutton Park improvement plan coming back. I think this summer or fall as well. So there's, and not to mention the other 7 or 8 or 9 items that Councillor Patchy mentioned, Caledonia Rotary Bowl, and so on and so forth. So my question to staff is contained inside this motion. What does priority mean? So does priority mean that everything, that this goes from number 11 or not on the list to number 1, and everything is put on hold until this project? Because if we were to say this is our number 1 priority, does that mean that everything else is, for how long, not any a priority? So we can't do anything until we deal with this? Because I don't understand what the motion even means. Make it our priority. What does that mean? They're not asking us for any money, so making it a priority means we can't. Well, what does that mean?
Well, Your Worship, I think Councillor Bestwick talked about it earlier in the meeting. If it's Council's priority, then when they approach sponsors like the Hilton Hotel, they would look for you to have this as your priority. When you apply for funding, whether it's provincial or federal, it usually comes along with the fact that you have to contribute matching funds. So that makes it your priority when you send off groups to start that process.
So thank you. So what you are telling me then, or what you just told me, is that there is a financial contribution if we make this a priority when it comes to 1, 2, or 3 levels of funding that will be requested to fund the $5.1 million. Is that what I just heard you say?
Priority, it comes with all of those possibilities. This group may not be asking for it to be a priority now, but it also means that if you grant them as this project as a priority, knowing that they're going to be out soliciting for funds, you're taking away all the opportunities for any of the other projects that you've also made a priority to solicit funds for. So I mean, it's up to council to set priorities. So far, we only have direction on one, which is the island ferries as our #1 priority for seeking funds from other government levels. But there is, as we've heard tonight, and I know there's many more projects that council would like to do, and until you prioritize them, it's I guess the first to the podium, the first that gets your endorsement that gets away with being really your priority. So you know that you have a presentation coming from the Port Theatre. They're seeking your support to be a priority. At this point, we only have one that's a #1 priority, and it's up to council to set the priorities for anything else you'd like to do.
Thank you.
Okay. I think